President of India Draupadi Murmu invited Narendra Modi to form the government for the third consecutive time after letters of support were submitted by leaders of the National Democratic Alliance parties as well as the BJP parliamentary party electing him as the leader. Swearing in for the third Modi government to take place on June 9 at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Alright, you can see in the visuals, President feeds dahi chini or sweet curd to Prime Minister-elect Narendra Modi. In Indian culture, eating dahi chini is considered auspicious before undertaking an important task or starting a new venture. The National Democratic Alliance, which emerged victorious in India's general elections, unanimously elected Prime Minister Narendra Modi as its parliamentary committee leader, thus making him PM-elect for a third consecutive term. The People Alliance, with the BJP as its leading member, is poised to form the government with the backing of over 300 MPs, including independents and others. Here's a report of the NDA parliamentary committee meeting.
Celebrations erupted outside Samvidhan Sadan on June 7 after Narendra Modi was chosen as the leader of the NDA Parliamentary Committee. BJP workers danced with party flags and rejoiced to dhol beats, something Prime Minister Modi had himself referred to a short while earlier while describing India and the mother of democracy and condemning the opposition in the alliance for besmirching India's reputation globally.
मैं दुनिया में ढोल पीट रहा हूं कि हम मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है और ये दुनिया में जाकर के बता रहे नहीं हमारे देश में तो डेमोक्रेसी ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि वो मोदी बैठ गया है वो एक चाय बेचने वाला यहां पहुंच कैसे गया.
The BJP-led National Democratic Alliance has won a clear majority in the recently concluded general elections, and the members of the coalition expressed their unwavering support for Prime Minister Modi to lead a third consecutive term, a historic moment and one they felt was richly deserved.
We are having leader. That leader is Narendra Modi. Now, I proudly propose the name of Sri Narendra Modi ji on behalf of Telugu Desam Party for the post of Prime Minister of this great nation.
10 साल से ये प्रधानमंत्री हैं और फिर प्रधानमंत्री होने जा रहे हैं और इन्होंने पूरे देश की सेवा की. अब पूरा भरोसा है कि जो कुछ भी बचा है अगली बार ये सब पूरा कर देंगे.
आप ही में सर वो इच्छा शक्ति है जो गांव और शहर की दूरी को मिटा सकता है. आप ही में वो इच्छा शक्ति है जो अमीर और गरीबी के फासले को पार सकता है. आप ही में वो इच्छा शक्ति है सर जिसने ये लक्ष्य रखा कि 2047 तक भारत को हम लोग विकसित देश बनाएंगे और भारत को विकसित देश बनाने की ओर आप ही हम लोगों को लेकर चल सकते हैं.
Prime Minister Modi described the NDA as an unbreakable bond built on trust.
आप मुझे फिर से एक बार ये दायित्व देते हैं, इसका मतलब है कि हम दोनों के बीच हम आपस में विश्वास का सेतु इतना मजबूत है ये अटूट रिश्ता विश्वास की मजबूत धरातल पर है और ये सबसे बड़ी पूंजी होता है.
Prime Minister Modi underscored the significance of collective efforts by all elected representatives in propelling the nation forward, emphasizing that beyond mere majority, it is unanimity that drives progress in a democracy.
मैं आज देशवासियों को यहां से विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि आपने जिस प्रकार से हमें बहुमत देकर के सरकार चलाने का सौभाग्य दिया है, ये हम सबका दायित्व है कि हम सर्वमत का निरंतर प्रयास करेंगे और देश को आगे ले जाने के लिए हम कोई कोर कसर नहीं छोड़ेंगे.
After the NDA meeting, its parliamentary committee leader and PM-elect for a third consecutive term, Prime Minister Modi called on elder statesmen of the party, Bharat Ratna L.K. Advani, Padma Vibhushan Murli Manohar Joshi and former President of India Ramnath Kovind. Bureau Report, DD India.
And top South Asian leaders have been invited to the oath ceremony, reflecting the government's neighbourhood first policy. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal have confirmed they will be attending the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both Hasina and her Nepal counterpart Dahal had previously extended their greetings to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the performance of the NDA at the 18th Lok Sabha elections. Leaders of Maldives, Mauritius, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Bhutan to touch down in India on Sunday for the swearing-in. All right, let's go across to DD India's Nandita Daga. She is joining us live from Delhi. Nandita, good morning. PM Modi will take oath of office on June 9th at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Tell us about the security arrangements and also the schedule.
Yes, the security arrangements are as per the importance as well as the solemnity of this occasion, because you know that several heads of state apart from our own Prime Minister and his cabinet ministers will be present over there in Rashtrapati Bhavan. We are expecting today the Maldives as well as the Prime Minister of the Republic of Bangladesh as well as the Vice President of Seychelles to arrive today, and tomorrow we will have the arrival of the Prime Minister of Mauritius and the President of Maldives and the Prime Minister of Bhutan as well. So also the President of Sri Lanka and Prime Minister of Nepal. So you can just imagine that the Prime Minister's policy of neighborhood first and SAARC as well as South Asians neighborhood first policy, wherein India has extended warm relations and cooperation to our neighboring states, however small they are. For example, Nepal, Bhutan and Sri Lanka, India helped in the time of crisis last year when it extended billions of dollars in lines of credit. So it shows how the South Asian community is coming together, although they are all members of SAARC and India and Prime Minister Modi's Sagar initiative, because Mauritius, Seychelles, Sri Lanka and Maldives, they are all island nations, and Prime Minister Modi's vision of security and growth for all in the region, that is resonating, and it has actually reaped benefits, and that is why it is symbolic that these heads of state are coming to the swearing in of the Prime Minister for the third time consecutively. The Prime Minister Modi is going to take the oath of allegiance to the Constitution. These members truly show that it is this Sagar initiative is hale and hearty, alive and kicking because of the efforts made by India. India is a reliable partner in the Indian Ocean region, the first responder to humanitarian assistance for humanitarian assistance and in disaster relief as and when these nations require. So a great moment. Yesterday Prime Minister Modi, as you have rightly in our bulletin, showed how he gave a speech to the NDA members and other coalition members of the NDA. Also welcomed Prime Minister Modi. They voted him as the leader of NDA. He went to the President, Ms. Draupadi Murmu, and he showed that letter of support from all the NDA allies, which gives him the majority in the 543-seat parliament, the majority being the halfway mark of 272. And that is why she, yesterday itself, Ms. Murmu, the president, invited Prime Minister Modi to take the oath of allegiance and form the next government. Abhishek?
Nandita, religious leaders from different faiths are also likely to join, and PM met BJP veterans yesterday, L.K. Advani and Murli Manohar Joshi at their residences in Delhi, and also said that he would strive to ensure unanimity in all decisions of his next government. Tell us, Nandita, what do you think will be the biggest challenge for this government?
The biggest challenge of this government, of course, will be, as far as security is concerned, India is bounded by two neighbors, on the western side with Pakistan and on the northern side with China, and the rise of China, which is aggressively flexing its muscles, not just in the South China Sea, but also on the borders, which Prime Minister Modi staved off very successfully in his first and second term, as India gave a tough resistance to the Chinese who were trying to nibble into the territory, and there was a quick deployment of forces, and the Chinese were not allowed to further intrude into the Indian territory. As far as the poverty alleviation is concerned, more than 200 million people have already been taken out of poverty. They have risen above the poverty line. Doing that, taking it to the remote areas where to the last mile, to the person who is completely off the mainstream, that is something that would be a challenge. Also, the coalition partners. Prime Minister Modi, in his earlier two terms, had a comfortable majority with his own party, the BJP, but this time he is in alliance with the TDP of Andhra Pradesh and the JDU of Bihar, and on its own, the BJP does not make it to 272, which is the halfway mark. He is dependent upon his coalition allies. He has to make them happy. They will be making several demands of special status, higher budgets for their states. That is something that will be a good juggling act for him to carry out. As far as technology progress, actually the Prime Minister has spelled out his intentions and motives for India in his first and second terms, be it Skill India, Digital India or Make in India. Also, these programs will now come to fruition because these are not programs which actually show or actually yield overnight. They would take years and years to follow. And the Prime Minister's mission is not 2029, as he said, it is mission 2047, which is when India will be completing 100 years of its independence. It becomes a developed nation, a superpower as far as military and economic might is concerned, and of course greater national integration amongst the citizens. The quality of living of the citizens improves, the per capita income of the Indian citizen improves. These are some of his spelt objectives, not just in his speech yesterday, but also over the years in the past two terms we have seen.
All right, Nandita, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. All right, still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Eminent media personality and Ramoji Group Chairman Ramoji Rao passes away. 7 Naxals killed in an encounter in Chhattisgarh. And get ready for torrential showers this week as IMD issues rain alert for northwestern states.
The construction sector generates waste, causes air pollution and also contaminates water. It really harms our environment. But there are ways to make this sector more sustainable. So let's look at some ideas to build green.
We begin every project by searching for reclaimed wood or stones from old houses. Working with reclaimed material also requires a lot of skill and experience.
Mud bricks are made of nothing but mud and 8% stabilizer. We now add a bit of lime and cement, but 92% is mud.
The distance between the elevators and the windows, that's great. A lot of office buildings actually have way too much space between the elevators and the glazing to make that happen.
The living root bridges has to be protected because we retain the imprints of our forefathers who has taught us how to use the natural resources without destroying the Mother Earth.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Following incidents of drowning of students, the Indian Embassy in Russia issued an advisory on Friday, urging them to be extremely careful while going to water bodies. The embassy urged Indian students in Russia to be extremely careful while going to beaches, rivers, lakes, ponds and other water bodies. Students are advised to take all necessary precautions and safety measures in this regard. In Chhattisgarh, 7 Naxals were killed in an encounter in Narayanpur district. The gunfight took place in a forest near Gobal village in the Orcha area, where a joint team of security personnel was out on an anti-Naxalite operation. 3 Jawans were also injured in the gun battle. All right, we'll go across to India's Akshay Dongre is joining us on the phone line. Akshay, 7 Naxals were killed in an encounter in Narayanpur district. What more you can tell us? Tell us about the operation, and also is search operation still underway?
Well, the incident took place, Siddharth, when a combing operation was taking place in Chhattisgarh. Now, there is a Naxal-infested area, it's known as Dantewada. It has been in news on several locations as far as these kind of anti-Naxal operations are concerned, or attacks by Naxals too. So, when we talk about this particular area, there have been consistent efforts going on to ensure that the villagers who often get threatened by these Naxals remain secured. And to do so, the security forces, especially the DRG, the District Reserve Group, has been at the forefront, along with the commandos of the paramilitary Central Armed Police Forces and the state police, along with other forces, have been involved proactively. Now, this incident took place last night. The DRG that we were talking about group was in fact doing a combing operation, were doing a recce of that area of Narayanpur in Dantewada. This is when there was an ambush in a way by the Naxals. However, fighting valiantly against the Naxals, 9 Naxals reportedly have been gunned down by the DRG, the District Reserve Group, and in the counter fire, 3 personnel of the DRG have also been injured. Now, this is another achievement as far as the anti-Naxal operations across the country are concerned. While Naxalism has remained one of the most significant threat to the internal security of the country, in the recent years, we have seen the government, especially the Home Ministry, upping the ante against the issue of Naxalism that has been infesting several parts of the country, especially the rural belts of Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, and other states as well, where they have been limited now just to small pockets. And perhaps this is the reason why we are seeing these kind of outbursts and attacks and ambushes that are repeatedly being set up by the Naxals to ensure that they do not get wiped out as far as these kind of attacks and brainwashing of the people are concerned. So this is in fact an achievement. We can take this as an achievement as far as the anti-Naxal operations are concerned. 9 dreaded Naxals have been gunned down by the security officials, security personnel who are on the ground. However, the 3 injured security personnel are being catered to as far as their medical condition is concerned. And the combing operation has since been going on to ensure that no Naxals remain in that particular dense forest area.
Number of Maoists killed during the encounter attacks this year alone has gone up to 125. Tell us, identities of Naxals yet to be ascertained, and also some weapons also have been recovered from the spot?
Well, yes, a large amount of weapon cache has been recovered from the spot. Now, naturally, these Naxals are heavily armed many a times by with foreign weaponry as well, which is usually recovered and recovered by the police forces wherever there is an operation such as this one. And there have been many times efforts by the Naxals as well to ensure that the police does not get hold of the weapon cache that the Naxals have. In fact, even the bodies of the killed Naxals in that area, however, this time around, weapons have in fact been recovered. And what we are expecting is for the security forces to do a cordon off of the entire region and ensure that no more Naxals are remaining at large in the Narayanpur district of Dantewada.
Akshay, keep tracking the story. We'll coming back to you. Okay. Eminent media personality and Ramoji Group chairman Ramoji Rao died at 87 while undergoing treatment in Hyderabad. Tributes started pouring in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the demise of Ramoji Rao. The passing away of Ramoji Rao Garu is extremely saddening. He was a visionary who revolutionized Indian media. His rich contributions have left an indelible mark on journalism and the world of films. Through his noteworthy efforts, he set new standards for innovation and excellence in the media and entertainment world. Ramoji Rao Garu was extremely passionate about India's development. I'm fortunate to have got several opportunities to interact with him and benefit from his wisdom. Condolences to his family, friends and countless admirers during this difficult time. Om Shanti. And President of India Draupadi Murmu expressed condolences on the sudden demise of Ramoji Rao. President Murmu penned down on social media platform X, with the demise of Sri Ramoji Rao, India has lost a titan of the media and entertainment sector. An innovative entrepreneur, he pioneered a number of ventures including the Enadu newspaper, ETV News Network and Ramoji Film City. Honoured with Padma Vibhushan, he succeeded as his vision was essentially rooted in society. His contributions to this industry will be long remembered. My condolences to his family and well-wishers. Unquote. And the India Met Department announced an increase in rainfall activity along the coast of Karnataka and Maharashtra starting June 8. Thunderstorms and rain with a maximum temperature of 35 degrees Celsius predicted for Tamil Nadu. IMD has issued a yellow alert for the state. The Met Department has predicted a partly cloudy sky for Saturday with the chance of dust storms or thunderstorms accompanied by light rain. The Met Office has also issued a yellow alert for the national capital today. Temperatures are expected to range between 42 and 29 degrees Celsius for the maximum and minimum respectively. The city's weather is undergoing a shift caused by the influence of a fresh western disturbance. All right, we'll go across to Chennai where DD India's Ritesh Ranjan is joining us live. Ritesh, Chennai braces for another bout of heavy rainfall. Yellow alert has been issued in some districts. Is it going to continue for a few days?
Well, according to the meteorological department, yes, it is going to continue. And even after the rain, temperature is not come down. Actually, when you see, average temperature, it is actually from 34 degree, from 28 degrees centigrade to 34 degree. And humidity is around 84 to 87. Between these level, it is going up and down. So even after rain, you see Chennai is facing heat. Even after, the meteorological department has issued yellow alert. That is for some areas, Kunnur, hilly areas. So these areas are having little bit of a relief for people. But here, when you see Chennai still have to wait for some more time to actually feel relief from the heat. And just after the announcement of the result, it was very hot before the election results were announced. And as the results were coming out, in the evening we saw rain, and it rained for some time only, some parts of Tamil Nadu and in Chennai. So after that we felt relief, and from that day it is raining slightly here and there. So a bit of relief is there, but we cannot say it's actually the relief what we were expecting, because heat is there still. There are some places where, for Tamil Nadu, I can say that averagely the temperature is going from 28 to 34. But in hilly areas like Kodaikanal, Ooty, hilly areas it is going around 20 to 27 degrees centigrade. And some areas are we are seeing rain, and because of the splash of rain, heat has come down. But still we are waiting for more relief.
And Ritesh, also heavy rainfall warning for 10 districts. List out those districts and also what all advisories have been issued by the government.
Well, 19 degrees for 90s districts. The yellow alert has been issued by the meteorological department, which comes under, Pudukkottai is there, Dharampuri, all these places. And especially when such kind of situation occurs, the first thing, meteorological department and Coast Guard have to do that. They advise fishermen not to venture into the sea. That's the first thing. And that's all. And other people are advised not to go out. because when when it rains here, recently we have seen in Madurai, Tiruchirappalli, it was flooded. So whenever it rains, it blocks the way of water which flows into the sea or goes out. So that is why we see a lot of blockage in the road and traffic problems comes up. So that is what we have seen in recent days in Madurai and Tiruchirappalli. Chennai, still we have to see more rains, and after that only we can see such kind of situation. But still, Chennai is good here.
All right, Ritesh, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Indian Navy has unveiled Indian Naval Dynamic Resource for Weather Analysis, INDRAP, which provides near real-time weather updates, climate data and crucial oceanic insights to ensure Indian Navy stays informed and prepared, leveraging technology for smarter navigation. Now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Passing out parade of Indian Military Academy's 394 cadets, including 39 from overseas, held in Dehradun city on Saturday. The parade was held at the Cadets Chesswood Drill Square of the city. Northern Command General Officer Commanding-in-Chief Lieutenant General M.V. Suchindra Kumar took the salute at the passing out parade. India's Central Bureau of Investigation on Friday filed its conclusive charge sheet in the alleged land for job scam involving former Railway Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav. The third and final charge sheet submitted by the probe agency before a special court in Delhi names 78 accused. It covers all railway zones where the recruitment was made allegedly in return for land taken by members of Lalu Prasad's family. All right, we'll step into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Hunter Biden's daughter testifies at his criminal gun trial. Danish PM attacked in central Copenhagen. Man has been arrested. Details after the break. And Hong Kong records hottest day in May as the mercury hit 36.1 degrees Celsius.
Welcome to Rajasthan, the celebration of India. Rajasthan treats you with its many shades and values. That echoes the idea of India in its philosophy of Atithi Devo Bhava.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we have done so far. Narendra Modi will take oath as Prime Minister of India on June 9, says changes in the country clearly visible and 18th Lok Sabha will work for Amrit Kal. US President Joe Biden apologizes to Volodymyr Zelensky for congressional delays in Ukraine military aid, makes a sweeping pledge for democracy. European Union elections underway with voters in 27 nations casting ballots to shape the bloc's political direction for the next 5 years. World number 1 Iga Swiatek eyes 5th Grand Slam title, will face Jasmine Paolini in Roland Garros title clash on Saturday. US President Joe Biden is on an official state visit to Paris after 2 days attending the ceremonies marking 8 years since D-Day in northern France. DD India's Paris correspondent Roland takes a look at what is happening on Saturday for the state visit.
Well, after spending 2 days focused on the D-Day commemorations in northern France, Joe Biden also met Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday in Paris for talks about continuing aid for Ukraine. And then Saturday will now mark the full state visit for the American president as part of his ongoing trip here to France. He and Emmanuel Macron will start Saturday at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, paying tribute there at the Arc de Triomphe at the top of the Champs-Élysées Boulevard. Then the two presidents will make their way to the Élysée Palace, the French presidential office and residence. They will hold a working lunch there, and there's lots for the two men to discuss. The war in Ukraine, the situation in the Middle East between Hamas and Israel, the ongoing fighting there, both countries' relationships with China, issues in the Indo-Pacific, and also other global challenges like fighting climate change. After the working lunch, there will be a press statement, and then the two leaders will come back for the final part of the state visit, which will be the pomp and ceremony of a formal state dinner in the Élysée Palace. Ross Cullen in Paris, reporting for DD India.
And US President Joe Biden on Friday, for the first time, publicly apologized to Ukraine for a month-long congressional hold-up in American military assistance that let Russia make gains on the battlefield. Biden has also announced a fresh $225 million tranche to Ukraine on the sidelines of D-Day events. The meeting was their first face-to-face encounter since Zelensky visited Washington in December, when the two pressed Republicans to overcome opposition in their party to more support for Ukraine.
The way you stood and holding on in Kharkiv, and you're proving once again the people of Ukraine cannot and will never overtake it. And I assure you, the United States is going to stand with you. I've said that all during this debate. I continue to say it. The United States is standing with you.
And in response to Biden extending support, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stressed the importance of his country's relationship with the US, saying it was crucial in the fight against Russia.
It's very important that in this unity, United States, America, all American people stay with Ukraine, like it was during World War II, how the United States helped to save human lives, to save Europe, and we count on your continuing support and standing with us, shoulder to shoulder. Thank you so much. We need peace in Ukraine, but we will stay. Anyway, stay strong.
And Russia's President Vladimir Putin said on Friday that he was ready to engage in peace talks with Ukraine, but only if Moscow could get agreements that were in Russia's interest. Putin spoke at Russia's flagship annual economic forum in St. Petersburg on Friday.
Of course, we need to achieve such agreements and such conditions that will comply with our interest and will be the most reliable. You are right that to settle agreements with such authorities is really hard.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday during a plenary session at St. Petersburg International Economic Forum said that Russia does not supply long-range weapons to the countries which are under pressure from the West, but reserves the right to do so.
About us supplying weapons, we do not supply yet, not yet, but we reserve for ourselves that right to do so to those states or even some legal entities who are feeling certain pressure, including the one of military nature, from the countries which supply the weapons to Ukraine, and urge them to use it against us, against our Russian territory.
And the US and Israel have confirmed that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will address a joint session of Congress on July 24th. The plan has already drawn criticism from progressive lawmakers, unhappy that Netanyahu will have the opportunity to defend the bombardment of Gaza. Nick Harper reports from Washington, D.C.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he was very moved at the opportunity to speak to US lawmakers. He was invited by the 4 congressional leaders to speak to the House of Representatives and the Senate in a joint session of Congress. He welcomed the invitation and said he plans to present the truth about Israel's offensive in Gaza. However, he also criticised those in Congress who he said were seeking to destroy Israel's image. The invitation has created a backlash from progressive lawmakers, in particular left-leaning Democrats who've been critical of the Biden administration's staunch support of Israel and the enormous loss of life of Palestinian civilians. The top Democrat in the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, has defended the decision to invite Netanyahu, saying that although he personally had clear and profound disagreements with the Prime Minister, America's relationship with Israel is ironclad and transcends one person or Prime Minister. President Biden has in recent weeks himself been more critical of Israel's tactics, strongly pushing Israel, without success, to reconsider its ground assault of Rafah. And the administration has also withheld weapons shipments, something that Republicans have criticized Biden for, urging the president to do more to help Israel against Hamas. Earlier this week, US media reported that Netanyahu would make the address later this month, only for the Israeli PM to say that was definitely not the case, as that date fell on a Jewish holiday. A meeting between Netanyahu and Biden during his visit has not yet been confirmed. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
And Bolivia's President Luis Arce said on Friday that his country and the Russian company Uranium One Group are planning to sign agreements to produce lithium batteries in Andean. Bolivia has an estimated 21 million tons of untapped lithium resources, the most worldwide, in an area of sprawling salt flats delineating at the so-called lithium triangle that includes northern Chile and Argentina. He said the signing of agreements with the company Uranium One in Bolivia for the production of lithium batteries is in works. And the polls are underway across the European Union, marking the beginning of what is expected to be a pivotal election, with far-right parties anticipated to secure significant gains, heightening the stakes in this continent-wide democratic exercise, which boasts over 370 million eligible voters spanning 27 member states.
The polls are underway across the European Union, marking the beginning of what is expected to be a pivotal election, with far-right parties anticipated to secure significant gains. With more than 370 million eligible voters spread across 27 member states, the stakes are high in this election. It's the 10th parliamentary election since the first direct elections back in 1979, and notably the first European Parliament election post-Brexit. The election, which runs from June 6th to June 9th, is coinciding with several other elections in various EU member states. Meanwhile, early indications suggest a surge in support for far-right parties. In the Netherlands, exit polls are indicating significant gains for Geert Wilders' anti-immigration party. Initial exit polls place his party as a close second to a coalition of left-wing parties. This marks a remarkable turnaround for Wilders, whose party failed to secure a seat in the previous EU election.
Well, I'm a very happy politician. I'm the leader of a party that is the greatest winner today. We went from 1 to 8 seats in parliament, with even a chance that we could become the biggest party and close to the Social Democrats and the Greens, who have 1 seat more in parliament. They have 8, we have 7. We went from 1 to 7.
While the far right in France sees this election as a crucial opportunity to undermine Macron's influence, and using this election as a platform to challenge President Emmanuel Macron's party.
Jusqu'à présent, il était inenvisageable que le Rassemblement.
This is a really spectacular rise for Rassemblement National. I mean, the fact that the Rassemblement National is leading in EU polls is not new. In the past 2 European elections, we have forgotten this, but the Rassemblement National already finished in first place. But then what's unique in this election, if the Institute's polls on voting trends are reflected in the ballots this Sunday, is that they could reach the symbolic score of 30%.
Dans lesquels il y avait une espèce de plafond de verre, je pense notamment aux électeurs de plus de 60 ans.
On the other hand, activists have taken to the streets blocking the entrance to the EU Commission, calling for degrowth. This adds another layer of complexity to an already intense political landscape. With Bureau Inputs, Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.
In the ongoing election campaign in United Kingdom, both Labour and Conservative Party are trying their best to convince the voters. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak suffered a fresh setback when he apologised for leaving D-Day commemorations early in order to give an interview. More in this report.
Election campaigning is in full swing in the United Kingdom for the upcoming parliamentary election on July 4. The most successful political party in British history, the Conservatives, are seeking to break another record on the 4th of July by securing a fifth election win in a row. The party headed by Rishi Sunak will be defending a majority secured by Boris Johnson in 2019 and hoping to improve on it across the country. The ruling Conservatives and the opposition Labour Party have both pledged to scrap preferential tax treatment for non-domiciled residents. Labour leader Keir Starmer has additional plans to tax the wealthy, and polls show his party more than 20 points ahead. Starmer, who's 61 years old, completed his education from the University of Leeds and the University of Oxford. Since 2015, Holborn and St Pancras has been his parliamentary constituency. In 2015, he became the MP from Holborn and St Pancras in North London. He served in former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn's frontbench team as his shadow Brexit secretary. Conservative Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is the UK's first British Indian Prime Minister. He studied at Oxford University and later did an MBA from Stanford University in California. He became Chief Secretary to the Treasury in 2019. In October 2022, he became Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. In his upcoming election, he has pledged to fight with multiple challenges like halving inflation, growing the economy, reducing debt, cutting NHS waiting times, and stopping small boat crossings. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is fighting to keep his job and to continue in the Parliament. But on Friday, Prime Minister Sunak suffered a fresh setback when he apologised for leaving D-Day commemorations early in order to give an interview. However, he said the decision to leave D-Day events early should not be used for political gain.
The itinerary for these events was set weeks ago, before the start of the general election campaign, and having participated in all the British events with British veterans, I returned home before the International Leaders event later in the day. On reflection, that was a mistake and I apologise. I think it's important though, given the enormity of the sacrifice made, that we don't politicise this. The focus should rightly be on the veterans who gave so much. I had the honour and privilege of speaking to many of them.
This year, in the United Kingdom, tax has dominated the election debate. PM Sunak repeatedly said Labour would increase taxes by £2,000 per family, a claim Labour has branded a lie. All 650 seats in the House of Commons are up for grabs on July 4. The leader of the party that can command a majority either alone or in coalition will become Prime Minister. Aman Kumar Himangshu's report, DD India.
And Naomi Biden, granddaughter of the US President, is the latest high-profile witness to give evidence in a case against her father, Hunter Biden. She talked about how well she thought he was doing at the time of a gun purchase back in 2018, but contrary evidence was shown on cross-examination. DD India's Caroline Malloon reports.
It's the end of the first week in testimony in the Hunter Biden trial that's brought a lot of evidence about him suffering from substance abuse both before and after purchasing a gun, and saying on the form that he was not taking drugs. His daughter Naomi gave evidence on Friday, saying she thought he seemed really great around the time that he bought the Colt Cobra gun in October 2018 when she saw him in California. But the prosecution showed text messages which appeared to show the contrary. She said, in the text messages, "I can't take this and I miss you so much and I just want to hang out." Well, prosecutors also allege Hunter Biden was arranging to buy drugs at the time. Well, early this week, his ex-wife and former romantic partners have testified about his drug use, but none of them have said they saw him taking drugs during the time in question. The defence says Hunter Biden was clean at the time. He did not consider himself to be an addict at the time and has been sober since 2019. Well, earlier on Friday, prosecutors rested their case Hunter Biden's team then asked the judge overseeing the case to acquit him, as they said there's not enough evidence to convict him. But the US district judge has not yet ruled on that. On Monday, we will find out, though, if the defence will call Hunter Biden himself to testify. That's a tricky decision to make because, of course, it exposes him to cross-examination. Well, all of this comes just after a guilty verdict for Donald Trump on 34 counts of business falsification. He's the likely rival to US President Joe Biden. And there are allegations from Trump's Republican Party that Joe Biden is using the justice system for his own political or personal ends. But Biden said in an interview on Thursday he would not pardon his son if he was convicted. Caroline Malone in Washington for DD India.
And Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen walked away following an assault by a man in central Copenhagen on Friday without any outward signs of harm. The assault comes 2 days before Danes head to the polls in the EU election. 3 weeks ago, Slovakia Prime Minister Robert Fico was seriously injured in an assassination attempt. The statement from Prime Minister's office said Mette Frederiksen was shocked by the incident. Police had arrested a man and were investigating the incident but declined to give further detail. An eyewitness saw the Prime Minister being escorted away by national and intelligence security personnel following the assault. And Hong Kong just recorded its hottest May since records began, with experts attributing the sweltering conditions to climate change. This comes as studies show the world is set to record its hottest summer ever. Experts say authorities need to be on high alert to protect children and vulnerable communities from the heat, and the city recently adjusted a new heat stress warning system for outdoor workers. DD India's Laura Westbrook has more inputs from Hong Kong.
For 75-year-old Mrs. Chan, each summer in Hong Kong feels hotter than the last. In her tiny flat, which she shares with her son and daughter-in-law, there is a small air conditioner, but she rarely turns it on to keep bills down. Outside, she works as a street cleaner, where there is nowhere to hide from the sweltering temperatures.
The sweat can be so intense that I cannot see and it drips into my eyes, which hurts. But you still have to endure it. At most, I can use the fan at the garbage station after finishing work.
Hong Kong recorded its hottest May since records began and is expecting another record-breaking summer. As the average summer temperature has risen, so too has the number of heat stroke cases reported each year.
Global monitors have warned that 2024 is shaping up to be the hottest year on record. Scientists say the extreme heat is partly due to the El Niño weather phenomenon as well as climate change.
It is outdoor workers who bear the brunt of extreme heat, which has put pressure on authorities to put protections in place. Hong Kong recently adjusted its three-tier heat warning system to coincide with the observatory's weather warnings, issuing guidelines for outdoor workers to take a break for 15 to 45 minutes every hour when a heat alert is issued. But experts say it's not legally binding and could put added pressure on workers.
I'm worried the employer wants to complete construction quickly. If the workers take a break, but the work period remains unchanged, they still need to catch up on the progress. It will be very hard for the workers.
Last month, UNICEF warned high temperatures across South and East Asia could put children at serious risk of heat-related illnesses, which included breathing problems and cardiovascular disease. As the city and the region heads into summer, the United Nations says authorities need to be on high alert to protect children and vulnerable communities. Laura Westbrook in Hong Kong, reporting for DD India.
Now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Retired astronaut William Anders, one of the first 3 humans to orbit the moon, who captured the Earthrise photo during NASA's Apollo 8 mission, died on Friday when the small plane he was piloting crashed in Washington state. Video footage showed on KCPQ that plunging from the skies in a steep dive before slamming into the water just offshore. Spain's Canary Islands prepare to release 2 loggerhead turtles who were rescued for study. The authorities had fixed GPS devices on their shells so that researchers can track their behavior once they return to the ocean. The 2 loggerhead turtles to be released on Saturday. Mexican fashion designer recycles election ads into tote bags. In Mexico City alone, an estimated 10,000 tons of trash were produced by political publicity this season. This initiative has garnered support from activists promoting recycling of plastic waste. The landmark Christ the Redeemer monument in Rio wore clothing traditional to another country, a Korean hanbok, for the first time. The event celebrates the opening of the Lights of Korea exhibition that takes place at the Museum of Contemporary Art from June 9. Alright, sports updates now. We'll start with French Open. Top-ranked Iga Swiatek will look to continue her dominance at Roland Garros when she faces 15th-ranked Jasmine Paolini in the 2024 French Open women's singles final on Saturday. Swiatek, who first held the top ranking in April 2022, is looking to win her 4th French Open crown and 3rd in a row. She is also closing in on her 5th Grand Slam title, having won the US Open in 2022. Well, cricket now. Afghanistan cricket team created history in the T20 World Cup when it thrashed New Zealand by a huge margin of 84 runs in Guyana in Group C match on Saturday. Chasing 160, New Zealand kept on losing wickets at regular intervals and got Mundell out for just 76. Outstanding spells from skipper Rashid Khan with Farooqi were the key to Afghanistan victory. Both took 4 wickets off 17 runs. And Keshav Maharaj is one of the most successful and decorated cricketers in the world, shouldering responsibility of being one of the seniors in the team. The left-arm spinner is confident about the Proteas' chances in this T20 World Cup. South Africa hasn't yet won the T20 World Cup and the team is looking forward to change that. Keshav Maharaj spoke exclusively to DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya.
How do you rate your team's chances and vis-a-vis your performance in this particular World Cup?
Well, I think we started on a positive note. Obviously, every team that comes here fancies their chances, but for us, it's just about trusting the process and taking one game at a time, and hopefully go one better than we did in the previous World Cup.
The Super 8 will be going in the Caribbean. Who do you think will be the top 4 teams to make it?
I think every team that comes here has a strong chance. We saw someone like USA playing in the World Cup for the first time, obviously going 2 back-to-back wins. So I think it's hard for me to sit here and pinpoint the team. I'd like to think we're going to be one of the teams, but whoever executes it on the day and obviously assesses and adapts to conditions quicker than others will be the teams that go through.
Keshav, South Africa hasn't yet won the T20 World Cup. Do you guys want to change the whole scenario and make history this time around?
Every year we're trying to build on the works that we have been doing as it goes on. So, hopefully this year we can go one step further. I mean, we showed in the previous 50-over World Cup, we are a force to be reckoned with and showed the character and fight. So if we keep building on that, who knows where this team can go.
You played with the IPL team Rajasthan Royals and it's an amazing experience for you.
All the experience that I gained and knowledge from the other players who have been faced with conditions like this can sort of help me in my game, but I'm just trying to stick through my simple processes and try be one step ahead.
Much appreciate your time. So that was Keshav Maharaj, all set for the T20 World Cup. They are in the Group D. They have won the first match against Sri Lanka and they will be looking to continue their winning caravan in the next match as well. With camera person S. Jaishankar, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from New York.
And the world is celebrating Ocean Day. This day supports the implementation of worldwide sustainable development goals and fosters public interest in the protection of the ocean and the sustainable management of its resources. In line with the theme for this year's World Oceans Day is Awaken New Depths. Let's promise that we will not mistreat oceans and will work together in restoring the health of the oceans. Alright, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.